I lost my mom and my boyfriend refuses to let me take our daughter to the funeral because it's religious. IF 26 just lost my mom a couple of days ago from ovarian cancer. I'm devastated right now and my boyfriend M31, we've been together for a year and a half, isn't helping me at all. My mom and I weren't on good terms before her death because of my boyfriend. John and my mom never got along because he's a deep-set atheist and my mom is very religious. Major issues popped up once I got pregnant and had my daughter. My mom pressed for me to have my baby baptized into the church, which I wanted to do, but John was dead set against it. He convinced me that baptizing her and indoctrinating her was a bad choice and that we should leave it to her to choose when she was old enough. I agreed. My mom didn't take this well at all and after many angry and hurt arguments, she cut off contact with me. Not having my mom with me during my pregnancy or my baby's birth took a big emotional toll on me, but John insisted it was for the best and he didn't want my mom near my daughter at all and that my mom was evil for hurting me. At the time I was angry so I agreed. I found out my mom was sick with ovarian cancer a month ago when she called me and wanted to talk. I was horrified and all the BS kind of just fell away. I tried to make the best of my time with her, brought my daughter to meet her grandma, and tried to build good memories with her. I'm happy to say we reconciled and my mom and I made our peace with each other before she died. I don't want to trash my boyfriend, but John has been a pain in the effing behind since I found out my mom was sick. He said she deserved it but quickly backed down when he saw how angry that made me. He refused to go with me to visit or help care for my mom. He didn't even really want to listen to me talk about how happy I was to reconnect with my mom. All he did was remind me that my mom hurt me and I should have no contact with her and she didn't deserve for me to speak to her. I told him that my mom isn't perfect, but my mom also raised me by herself and that she was my rock for many years and he should respect that. He said nothing outside telling me there was no value in talking to her. Now we're planning the funeral. I asked John to go with me, and he refused instantly. He said he hated my mom, that she was a C-word to our family, and that he wasn't going to church ever and it was rude and insensitive of me to ask. When I said I was taking my daughter, he had the nerve to actually tell me that I was not under any circumstances taking her. I have been through an emotional roller coaster this past week. I lost my mom after we finally made up. My boyfriend has been stupidly unsupportive, and now he's refusing to let me take my child to her grandmother's funeral and refusing to come to at least support me. My daughter is the one thing that brings me comfort and I want her with me. Is that so unreasonable? It seems like the more I push the more he digs his heels in and I just can't take it anymore. I don't know what to do. His attitude towards this entire thing is breaking my heart on top of my mom's passing. Update. Thanks everyone that sent me condolences about my mom. It's been really hard these past several days, but I've been hanging in there okay. I tried being reasonable to John about he wanted to handle things. I even told him like one poster here suggested that he didn't have to go to the service, but could wait in the lobby with my daughter while the service was ongoing. Then she could spend time with my family after the service, but he again shot it down. He would be able to hear the service and that was a violation of his beliefs and asking to compromise on those beliefs was unconscionable and unfair to our daughter. I told him I had had it. This is the icing on a very large cake. I told John that as of this week, I wanted our bank accounts separated. He made us join accounts to make sure we split everything equally to be fair despite me making more, and that I'd be staying with my brother after the funeral while we figured out what to do whether that was a total breakup or counseling. It was up to him. He said counseling was for the weak-minded and that we were staying together despite my empty threats and there was no way in F he was letting me take his money. He became very loud and in my face during this conversation so I just let him throw his tantrum until he took my silence as agreement. I took my daughter with me to the viewing with no problems. John and I barely spoke that day, which was fine by me. But it hit the fan the next day. When I got up in the morning to get myself ready and get my daughter ready, I discovered that he had the mother effing gall to park his car directly behind mine, locking me into the driveway. I had no way to get to the funeral in my own car. John always drives to work, but for reasons I can only imagine were to get back at me, decided to take the subway, and took the baby carriage and bottles, and my pump with him. My brother and I have our differences, granted, in fact we haven't talked much since my mom and I were estranged. We started talking again after she was sick, but he'll forever be a saint to me for what he did. I called him crying, and he and my sister-in-law arrived within 20 minutes. Sister-in-law calmed me down and helped me get my daughter ready, and they brought along spare bottles, a carrier, and a breast pump. Thanks to them I was able to go my mom's funeral in comfort, and my daughter was an angel during the service. They calmed me down and everything went perfectly, and even though I was a mess most of the day, having my daughter with me, and my sister-in-law and even my brother with me to lean on gave me peace on the inside. I've made up my mind not to tolerate John's insane and controlling behavior anymore. He had a litany of excuses for doing what he did, he even tried to claim his car had problems, and I don't want to hear any of them. I never wanted to be a single mom, I always wanted to raise my baby within a family. But I've decided that going alone is so much better than doing it with this man, who thought nothing of trying to kick me while I was down. My brothers arranged for me to talk to a friend of his that specializes in family law this week, and we're taking it from there. I still feel so guilty for what happened with my mom, I miss her so much. I hope from here on out I can make her proud of me, despite my mistakes.